All right, I call to order the meeting of the Rancho Mirage City Council, Library and Observatory Board, Housing Authority Board, and the City Council representing the Redevelopment Successor Agency. This is our regular meeting for Thursday, December 7th, and the time is 1 o'clock. We will start with a flag salute, and I will ask our Director of Public Works, Ryan Stendell, to please lead us in the salute.
Please join me in honoring our country. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the city clerk please conduct roll call?
Councilmember Mulatto?
Present.
Councilmember Marker?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Weil? Here. Mayor Downs?
I'm here. Next item is non-agenda public comment. This is your opportunity to speak on items that are not on the agenda. If you wish to speak on agenda topics, please wait until that agenda topic is called. 3 minutes, so please limit your comments to 3 minutes. City Clerk, would you please handle public comment?
Certainly. Pia Gardner? Just right there.
The microphone right
there at
here.
the podium, ma'am.
I am Pia Gardner. I live at 71740 San Jacinto Drive, number 22, Rancho Mirage, California. I've been there for 39 years, and I'm having a problem, and I thought I might talk to you about it, and its sensitivity of it. So I don't know if I can't even say anything because of, it just makes me upset inside when I talk about it. I have no privacy whatsoever in there. I have been followed. I've been stolen things out of inside of my home, even though I have two locks in it. And it's someone that has the keys to everything that does that. I talked to the manager. She tells me to talk to him and stop telling her what's going on. I have no one else to talk to. But the problem has been going on for 1 year now. Every day. So that's my story. I don't know what you can do about it. I need something. I need someone to tell me what to do about my safety. I'm 86 years old. Does anybody have a resolution for this one?
What you should do is speak with Marcus Alleman, the city's housing manager. He is here in the chamber, and he's sitting behind you. I'm sure he'll give you his card once you return to your seat.
Yeah, because it's, I don't want to leave the place that makes my home. I've been there for so happy. This has been 1 year of this deal that I've tolerated for 1 year now. It's never been like this before. I have been advertising this place all over Italy, France, where I've been, because it was such a beautiful place. And I don't want that to initiate that that's something wrong here all the time. It is one person that's doing it. So thank you. I'll go back there.
Trinity Rob Burke?
I am a newcomer to Parkview Villas, and the reason that I'm here is I want to know what happens or what I can do if I should be confronting a problem like Mrs. Gardner. And I'm supporting her in the sense that she did have a theft and reported it to the police. I'm a former law enforcement officer from Texas, and I know what we do. We take a report and we follow up and we investigate. And in this case, no one has done anything for her. So I'm just wondering why. And that's all I have to say.
Wally Melendez.
Good afternoon, City Council, administration, and we the people. Speaking of the University of Rancho Mirage, we need to educate the population concerning the thin blanket that covers the earth. That also in some places of the earth with little vegetation is more susceptible to problems of heat and contamination. So I know that you all have an idea about the blanket that I'm talking about. It's gases and it's got different layers, stratosphere and so on. And I know that it used to be, or some time back, you would hear the term a hole in the ozone layer. Well, ozone is a type of gas, but it only composes a small amount of the atmosphere. The two main gases of the atmosphere, as some of you may know, is nitrogen and oxygen. And what the problem is, and what we need to educate people through institutionalized teaching, learning, like a university, is that this layer, we are destroying it. And you all know what I'm talking about. You hear it every day. It's being destroyed by our cars that spew out carbon monoxide. It's carbon monoxide. That's what's doing it. So we need to change that fast. You've heard of global warming? Well, that's what it's doing. So I desire for people to get educated about what I'm talking about. That's why I keep bringing up Rancho Mirage University. Whatever. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was the last speaker card. Is there anyone else in the audience who did not submit a speaker card but would like to speak on a topic not on today's agenda? That was the last speaker.
Thank you, Christy. Now it's time for council board member comments. I will start today. So at our last council meeting on the consent calendar, we approved a new member of the Emergency Preparedness Committee. It was a long meeting last time, so we didn't have much time to give him an opportunity to introduce himself and say hello to the council and to have an opportunity to make a couple of comments. So I want to do that today with my time. I want to introduce Mitch Brown. Mitch lives in Del Webb. He's active in emergency preparedness in the Del Webb community, and he will now join our Emergency Preparedness Commission. Mitch?
Yeah, thank you so much. I am Mitch Brown. I live at Del Webb, and I have proudly for 4 years now. I also happen to be the chair of the Emergency Preparedness Committee there. I just wanted to thank Mayor Downs and Mayor Pro Tem Weil and Councilmember Mulatto and Marker and all the other people that I've gotten to know. I really appreciate it. I am inspired to serve because of you. I am proudly wearing my CERT vest today that I got from the city of Rancho Mirage and CAL FIRE in 2021. And that was certainly one of the many things that I guess got me involved in wanting to know more of how to help our neighbors. I have attended a few of the EPC meetings here and gotten to know quite a bit of the staff, the other commissioners, and I'm looking forward to working with them and mostly learning from them. For everyone here, the Commission's mission is really important work. It's to motivate every person, business, and organization in the city to take actions that reduce future damage from a disaster and enhance preparedness, response, and recovery. And I did want to also remind everyone that the city makes it very easy to get prepared. We have a website link called rmready.org. Everyone can go to it this afternoon, and you'll find all the information you need to get your home, your place of work, and your car ready should we have a disaster. And anyway, I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to serve, and I'm ready to pay my rent. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mitch.
Oh, and if you come to the farmers market, we will give you this Get Ready bag from the city. We're there on the first and third Friday of the month. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. Okay, other council comments. I'll go from my left to my right and ask Councilmember Marker if she has comments today.
I'll save my comments when we get to the nominations. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. Mayor Pro Tem Weil.
Thank you, Mayor. The city manager sent us a note this morning, and I want to congratulate Lieutenant Espinoza and the Sheriff's Department on an incredible job they do. I've said before, public safety, in my opinion, is our single greatest responsibility. And this week, our Sheriff's Department received notification that there was a burglary going on at Home Depot by if you will, a retail gang that was in the store cutting cages and taking valuable equipment. The lieutenant and his team apprehended these people. They were arrested, and they are now no longer able to commit a crime because they have been incarcerated, and the public feels that much safer. I think that they do a fabulous job. Again, they're here to help you if you have any questions regarding your home as to security is concerned. And again, I want to thank the lieutenant and all those people that have contributed. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ted. Council Member Mulatto.
I, too, would like to reserve my comments for the council applicants a little bit later.
Thank you, Lynn. Now we'll go on to city manager comments, and then if you would, go right into the consent calendar.
No comments today, so I'll go right to the consent calendar. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, you have 10 items on your consent calendar for consideration. Item number 1 is to approve the November 2nd, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Item number 2 is to approve the November 16th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Item number 3 is to approve the November 21st, 2023 special meeting minutes. Item number 4 is to approve the final acceptance of improvements for track map number 36809-1. Item number 5 is to approve final track map number 36620. Item number 6 is to approve final parcel map number 38315. Item number 7 is to adopt joint resolution number 2023, next in order, approving adoption of a revised purchasing procedures policy. Item number 8 is to adopt resolution number 2023-SA-next in order, approving and adopting the ROPS schedule and administrative budget for fiscal year 2024, 2025 pursuant to Assembly Bills 26X1 and 1484. Item number 9 are contracts, and number 10 are demands, and staff is here for any questions. Before we get to council questions or comments, I'll ask the city clerk to handle public comment on the consent calendar.
Thank you. I did not receive any speaker cards for consent calendar items. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? No speakers.
Thank you, Christie. Do we have any council comments on the consent calendar? Councilmember Mulatto?
Item number 4. Item number 4, I will not be able to vote on as I'm a Del Webb resident.
Okay. All right, anything else? All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar absent item number 4?
Yes, I'll make that motion, Mayor. The approval of the consent calendar, item number 4 will be a separate motion.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion on item number 4?
Item number 4, a separate motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion and seconded. Please vote.
Motion carries 3-0 with Councilmember Mulatto recused.
Thank you, Christie. Okay, next item is item number 11 on the agenda. The subject of this item is consideration of resolution of intention to annex territory comprising 3¼ acres of community facilities district number 1 in connection with the tentative parcel map number TPM 38152. The staff report will be delivered by financial analyst Jacob Dela Cruz. Jacob, your report, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, Council. This item is the first step in the city's annexation process for developments within the city's jurisdiction. The second and final step is planned to be considered at the January 18th council meeting. The territory proposed for annexation is located on the south side of Clancy Lane between Rancho Manana Lane and the northernmost extension of Rancho Los Palmas Country Club. The staff report contains a typo in the property information section, which states the territory is comprised of 7 parcels. It is in fact comprised of 1 parcel totaling approximately 3.25 acres, and this parcel is slated to be subdivided into 2 residential parcels and a private driveway. Tentative parcel map 38152 was originally approved by the Planning Commission on November 22nd, 2022. Condition of approval number 17 for the project requires that the territory be annexed into CFD number 1. In accordance with the condition of approval, the owner of the annexed territory submitted a petition for annexation requesting that the City Council initiate proceedings to annex the territory into CFD 1 and provide for expedited approval of the annexation and the levy of the special tax. Upon approval of the resolution, the city will be able to accept the petition submitted by the owner for annexation, consent to the levy upon the annexed territory, allow for the shortening of the time for the special election to expedite the annexation, accept and preliminarily approve the annexation map and direct the city clerk to record the map, and finally, establish the date and time of the public hearing on annexation of the territory. That concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jacob. Would the city clerk please ask for public comment?
Certainly. I did not receive any speaker cards on this item. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? No speakers.
Thank you, Christie. Any council comment on this item? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion that the City Council approve and adopt resolution number 2023 next in order, declaring the city's intention to annex territory to Community Facilities District Number 1 and to levy a special tax therein for additional police and fire services, preliminarily approve a map of the area proposed to be annexed, and schedule a public hearing to consider the annexation and the levy of the special tax for annexation number 191.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Christie. Next item, item 12, is consideration of filling the vacancy on City Council and possible installation of a new council member. The way we will conduct this agenda item is first, I will ask for public comment. Second, I will then ask council members if they have comments to make. Third, I will then ask council members to make their nominations as to who they believe should be appointed to fill this slot. If then we have a person who receives the most votes, I will then ask for a motion to appoint. In the event that we are not, we don't have a clear winner, in the event we are tied, and it could be a 2-2 tie, and it could be possible that each of us, all four of us, have a different appointee. If that happens, this item will be carried forward to a future council meeting. So let us begin with public comment, and would the city clerk please conduct public comment on this item?
The first speaker is Isaiah Harris.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and City Council and staff. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today. My name is Isaiah Harris, and I live in Rancho Mirage. And I certainly know that council has a very important decision they got to make in terms of filling the seat vacated by retired Mayor Kite. As I said previously, and I want to reconfirm that I fully support the process that's being implemented here. So I'm here today to share with you my takeaway from the interviews that were held last Tuesday. Based on my records, there are 11 applicants, and at the end of the interviews, 4 applicants either withdrew or were not present to be interviewed. After observing the applicant's presentation, I walked away with 2 thoughts. First, what impressed me the most? All applicants seem to be qualified and impressive individuals who have dedicated a great deal of their time supporting various civic causes here in the city of Rancho Mirage, adjacent cities, and in the valley. One applicant had spent many years in the service to our country, to whom I say, thank you for your service and your sacrifice. This speaks very well to the residents of Rancho Mirage and their dedication to service. My second thought at the end was, what was most disappointing? Unless I'm mistaken, for which I apologize in advance, the applicants that didn't speak to their vision for Rancho Mirage or what they viewed as the pressing issues facing Rancho Mirage. Some applicants were given an opportunity to respond to the issues that they viewed based on direct questioning from the council. Excuse me. When Mayor Downs advised the applicants to use the allotted time to say, why me? I expected more than a summary of their experiences. After listening to the applicants, I've determined that 2 applicants are clearly prepared to fill the vacant position due to their dedicated service to the city of Rancho Mirage. The applicants are, in alphabetical order, David Gray and Sherry Stewart. I'm not privy to the application or the reference material associated with these individuals. Further, neither applicant had committed not to run in the upcoming election, so I can't make a final recommendation. Since both applicants have committed themselves to many years of service in the city, I believe that one of them should be rewarded for their service by being elevated to the city council. I have every confidence that the council will make a decision that's best for the city of Rancho Mirage. I say good luck to you in your decision-making process. Thanks for your time. Thanks for my consideration. And I wish for this to be included in the record. Thank you
for your comments.
Next speaker is Dominic Moonhart.
All right. Hello, council members, Mayor Pro Tem, and Mr. Mayor. Congratulations on your position. I'm Dominic Moonhart. I am the former student councilman of Rancho Mirage High School. I wanted to come to address item 12 because I know you guys have a not difficult, but you guys have a decision to make. What I look in an appointed council member is, how do you address the youth and how do you address some of the problems with Rancho Mirage High School? And are you even relevant at Rancho Mirage High School? Majority of you guys, I have never seen at Rancho Mirage High School, nor are public events or are engaged with the Rancho Mirage students. We are a part of your community, okay? I was a former student, now I'm an alumni of Rancho Mirage High School, and I wished that some of the council members here were able to come to some of our events that we have at Rancho Mirage High School, our sports events, our theatrical events, our shows, and much more that I could say. But with that, I hope you guys appoint someone who really cares about the students of Rancho Mirage High School. We are the future of our community. One day, I will be sitting in one of these chairs. So I asked the city council to please appoint someone who deeply care about Rancho Mirage High School and the youth overall. The mayor of Palm Springs came to one of our shows, and that's exciting. But no one here in this dais goes to any of our events. That's weird. Not only that, but it's discouraging in a way, because Rancho Mirage High School has a lot of problems in and of itself. I could mention a couple: the gang violence, the favoritism, the discrimination towards autistic students. I'm openly autistic, and I know the city council can't do anything about it, but they can at least come and support all the students at Rancho Mirage High School. I mean, we have one of the football players in the Green Bay Packers, I forgot his name, used to be in our high school. I never got to meet him, but I congratulate him on his work. Because every single time when I go to school, I always get told no. No one's going to make it in the NFL. And forgot his name, but he made it. And I encourage you guys to appoint someone who will come to our events. And I encourage you guys to come to our events as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Much appreciated. His name is Daniel Whalen, and the previous mayor of this city often went to see him play football. I appreciate your comment. Thank you.
Brad Anderson?
Thank you. Brad Anderson, City Rancho Mirage. I wanted to speak on item 12 too, and wow, because the youth probably is overlooked in this city. But I want to protest again, just to make my voice heard. I wrote a comment letter today. I see it's in the public record, so I suggest everybody look at that if they can find it. I can't ever find anything like that when I go to look for it. But I'm protesting this, I think you call it elect to appoint process that you have. And the reason is you are, or this counselor, this 4-person counselor, is taking my voice away, my representation, or my right to vote for a person that is an elected position. And it's doable, it's reasonable. It happened 2 years ago, same issue, same time frame. And I believe it was $70,000 for election at that time, and now it's quoted at $114,000. That's remarkable. I haven't run the numbers. That's not my mission in life, but I find that suspicious, I guess. But again, I just want to protest this theater because I think it is a show. This is my opinion. I've seen it before. And I'm discouraged, just like the last speaker, because you're making people go through these loops or hoops where decisions are probably pre-planned. Yes, that's quite an accusation for me to make, but I already predicted your candidate today, and we'll see if that happens. Again, I protest this. Thank you.
That was the last speaker card. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on this item? There are no more speakers.
Thank you, Christy. Council comments. And again, this is our opportunity to make comment to those who filed applications, came to speak to us 2 days ago. This is not the time to make our nominations, which essentially will be our votes. This is your opportunity to speak to the people who took the time to apply to help run this city. So I will start with Mayor Pro Tem Weil.
Thank you, Mayor. As I expressed 2 days ago, I couldn't be more proud of the city that I live in, based upon the number of individuals that wanted to participate in this process and had the desire to serve our city. I can't begin to tell you how pleased I was and how proud I was for each and every one of you. And I thank you again for being here today. Our task is challenging. I like to think we're going to choose somebody that is going to fairly represent our constituents. But again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to making my comments when I nominate an individual. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Marker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The ideal situation would have been to have had the best possible candidate offer to be a placeholder for Richard's seat. There were many exceptional choices to pick from here, and I applaud all of you for applying. As no one offered to do this, it's not hard to understand why. As being a council member requires a good deal of time and commitment, for one to dive in and fill Richard's term for 10 months is truly a selfless act. At the same time, to have a seamless transition would require a knowledgeable person who's up to speed on the city's business. I'll reserve my final comments for the nomination.
Thank you, Meg. Councilmember Malato.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to sit where many of you applicants, where I came for an appointment. And at that point in time, our current mayor was appointed to the council. When a vacancy occurs, the state law says we have 60 days to fill that vacancy. It's not an open-ended time frame, and that's a misperception that's out in the public. Likewise, a special election right now is what, 144,000, something like that. That took us back as well.
114.
114, thank you. So when we put the call out to our residents and we have such an impressive response as we did this past week, where we are very grateful and appreciative to the members of this community that want to give of themselves selflessly. Most of the applicants are aware of the time commitment. It's not easy, as any of us will share with you, but it's a dedication that we make to serve for our constituency. I want to thank personally all of you for making that step forward, and for those of you that may not fill this position today for Richard's seat, and I've said in the past, 23-year legacy with former council member and Mayor Kite, big shoes to fill. If you are not selected for this position today, I hope you'll consider in the future a commission, because cities always need good people to serve on those commissions and volunteer. You're an extension of the public. You're bringing those messages and ideas to the council, and they're valued. They're valued in every respect. Thank you again for coming forward.
Thank you, Lynn. I was very pleasantly, not surprised, but very happy to see the quality of the candidates, the 7 candidates who survived, I guess, after those who dropped out. We had one very good member of the Chamber of Commerce. We had 2 folks who have served this city, not today, but in the past, on various commissions. We had a current planning commissioner who applied. We had a current cultural commissioner who applied. We had a retired general who came here to talk about why he would be a good fit for this city council. It's wonderful to see that quality in our city come to apply to Phil Richards' remaining term. And I thank you very much, and I salute you for taking the time to do so. All right, we will go on to our nominations. So we will each have an opportunity to make a nomination. And I will begin with the senior member of this council, Mayor Pro Tem Weil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a very, very difficult choice that I'm going to make, because there are a number of individuals that are here, that are in the audience today and that have applied, all of whom would make an outstanding contribution to our city, and in my opinion, would fit seamlessly into the council. And after reviewing the backgrounds, after asking various individuals whose references were given, I came to a decision that I felt that there was one individual that checked a number of boxes more than others. That individual is still active and participating on one of our commissions and is extremely familiar with the city. He is active, he attends meetings, he vocalizes his position, and I've been very impressed with the way he has handled himself. In addition, this same individual has had the experience of participating in government in another city here in the Coachella Valley. So not only is he familiar with Rancho Mirage, he's familiar with the valley. This individual, in addition, received high water marks from the mayor of that city and said that, yes, he contributed significantly and worked extremely well with the others. So again, this made this individual unique because he had governmental experience here in our city as well as another city. This same individual was awarded the Coachella Valley Volunteer of the Year Award on National Philanthropy Day in 2009. So he's been recognized not only in our city, but throughout the valley. It was very hard for me to make this decision, not to pick this individual, but because there were several that I felt were more than qualified. So again, I thank you all for being here. I thank you for the opportunity, but I felt that Michael O'Keefe stood out above the others based upon his past performance, based upon his activities in the city, in another city, active in the community that he lives today, and I feel that he would make an outstanding council person. So again, Michael O'Keefe is my nominee. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll go next. This was a remarkably difficult decision for me. All of these applicants were excellent, and there were 3 of them in particular that stood out for me, and I had a very, very difficult time trying to figure out how I would make my decision, but I have. And my decision is also to appoint Michael O'Keefe to sit on this council. Councilmember Mulatto.
Along with my colleagues, when you have these wonderful resumes before you, the decision's not easy. And for all the reasons that Mayor Pro Tem Weil stated, also Mayor Downs, I'm nominating Michael O'Keefe.
Thank you, Lynn. Councilmember Marker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To have a seamless transition would require a knowledgeable person who's up to speed on the city's business, as I mentioned earlier. I did my research on potential appointees, and after speaking with one of my contacts who sits on the Planning Commission, I asked about David Gray. David sat for over a decade on the Mobile Home Commission, which is a very difficult commission to fill. Currently, David is the chairman of the Planning Commission, so he is up to speed on all the projects the city is currently working on and will be working on. He is already familiar with the future projects of the city as we are rapidly growing with Cotino, projects across from Agua Caliente. There's many projects going on in the valley, and these are very important in running the city. He said that when there is tension in the room, the person who I spoke with, David has this unique ability to calm and uplift the room. This is a rare trait that would bode well on city council. He is a practicing attorney, which adds another dimension to the council. It's an advantage to still be working in our community because it keeps your pulse on what's important to local businesses. There were many good candidates, but I strongly think David is the best choice at this time to fill Richard's seat. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Meg. Okay, we have 3 nominations for Michael O'Keefe. We have 1 nomination for David Gray. May I hear a motion to appoint Michael O'Keefe to this council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to appoint Michael O'Keefe to the vacant position as a member of the City Council.
And I'd like to second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, Michael, would you please join us down here in front, and the city clerk will administer the oath. I'll come down with you.
Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Can you hear me? Is it working? No. Let me grab the other one. Sorry about that. Testing. Okay, thank you. Okay, raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter?
I do.
Congratulations.
We happen to have a seat right here for you, Michael. Please come up and join us. Michael, welcome to the Rancho Mirage City Council. We are happy to have you join us. As I said the other day, it is both an honor and an obligation. So we're happy to honor you today, and we expect you to do a great job fulfilling your obligation. And I'm guessing you might have a few words you might want to say to us.
I do. Is this on?
Push the red button.
I'll push the red. First, I want to thank council members for entrusting me with this. and I look forward to working with each of you. And to staff, I'm eager to meet all of you, and I look forward to working with you as well. And to my fellow Rancho Mirage citizens, I pledge to you that I will do my very best to be a good and effective council member for you. And I look forward to meeting you and hearing your thoughts about our wonderful city. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. That was the last item on our agenda. We will be recessing into closed session. Michael, you will join us in closed session today, and we are now recessed. I'm sorry. The city attorney needs to make a statement about closed session. I'm sorry about that.
We'll be, as the mayor said, we'll be convening in a closed session for 3 different items. The first, conference with legal counsel under existing litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D1. Case name Vacation Rental Owners and Neighbors of Rancho Mirage et al. V. City of Rancho Mirage et al. Case number CVRI 2100368. Second, conference with legal counsel existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. Case name Juarez v. City of Rancho Mirage et al. Riverside Superior Court case number CVPS 202234. And finally, conference with legal counsel under existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1. Case name Wendy Hope Heckman v. City of Rancho Mirage, case number 5:22-CV-2031, Central District of California.
And I apologize, we aren't quite adjourned. We do have someone who would like to make a public comment on closed session. Brad Anderson.
Thank you, Brad Anderson, City Rancho Mirage. I just wanted to speak on the closed session topic, I guess number 3, and that's concerning Wendy Hope Heckman and that case. And the other cases I looked into, but I was unsuccessful finding any information about it. But I thought that was done. I thought that was completed, but apparently it's not. I think it's wise for this party to take that litigation out of the county, or out of the city, or out of the Coachella Valley, because I feel, well, anyway, that's another opinion. But I'm worried. I think this person was harassed, intimidated by the city just to use her property for family events. And now she has to litigate her city, just like me. I would never want to do that. People are forced to do that. People are forced to stand at this podium. And I guess my shocker is, a lot of people probably know, she shares property lines with the city manager, and that's an issue. And I'm sure it's part of this whole dilemma, but we're all paying for it. And I just want to urge you to conclude this matter as fast as possible. Thank you.
Okay, and I will ask if there is anyone else who would like to make a public comment on the closed session before we recess. Seeing none, we are. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mayor Downs, we're forgetting that today is Pearl Harbor Day.
You're absolutely right, Wally, and thank you for reminding us of that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, we are now recessed into closed session. All right, we are out of closed session, and will the city attorney please report on closed session?
Mayor, no reportable action taken today in closed session.
Thank you, Colin. We are adjourned.